Hey there, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to today's session. It's Ronette Turner Corley, and I'm chiming in on a number of channels. You should be seeing me on Facebook Live, on YouTube, as well as LinkedIn. And welcome. Today is Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Casual Friday. As you can see, I have my hat on, and yes, indeed, I am blessed. So today, I am coming to talk about, why zero is your hero, right? Why zero is your hero. So here's the thing. A lot of you know me from different capacities. Some people know me from network marketing. Some people know me from my financial services and insurance business. Some know me from the crypto space. Or even, doing loans. And so I've worn many hats. It's always been in the people business, everything I've ever done. But not too long ago, I relaunched my financial services business. And today I'm going to show you why. We're living in a very unique time right now. And only 1% of people are prepared, really. That's what statistics say, right? 1% of people today can literally retire with the same lifestyle or in dignity, or with dignity, I should say. And here's the thing with that. That's concerning. That is concerning. I've been doing business loans, and one of the things I noticed about business owners is that they work very hard. I'm talking about not people who work from home. I'm talking about traditional business owners with brick and mortar locations, okay? And those that really contribute to our economy and make the world go round. They're the the driving force of the economy. Well, one of the common denominators I've noticed about business owners, and just this is just me doing loans and evaluating, their financials and things like that, is that they're very exposed and unprepared. And primarily because they do everything when it comes to the business. And a lot of them, the mom and pop shops, they're a one-stop shop or one person show. So what ends up happening, they're not prepared when life happens. You know that saying we say life be happening, a life yeah, life be happening, right? That's a life be lifing. That's the new phrase. Life be lifing. Well, life's with all of us. And here's the thing: we can't control what happens when life be lifing, but we can control how we prepare for it. So when it comes to me taking a look at the financial health of a business, what I've noticed, it doesn't matter if they're doing $3 million a year or I've seen businesses struggle. What I have noticed, they're not prepared for life's changes, whether it's retirement. I mean, heck, a lot of them took their 401k and IRAs and things and nest eggs to start their business, right? So they're really not prepared to retire. They're not prepared. Excuse my background noise. They're not prepared for, um, if they get sick. We can't control when life happens. So when it comes to the big three, heart attack, cancer, stroke, they're not prepared. What happens if they get hurt and they need to sit down or they're disabled? Guess what? Who's going to continue to run the show? Well, what I've noticed is not just with business owners, even people at large, the 99% of people outside of that 1% are not prepared. If you think about what happened years ago, you would work for a job. I mean, the environment has changed drastically, right? You would go to work for a job. And when you work for that job, what would happen? Well, they will supply us what we call a pension plan. And pension plans are dinosaurs today. My mom retired years ago. She's living on a pension. Those days for my generation, I'm Generation X. And if you're part of X, and even the later baby boomers are, they don't have pensions anymore. So everything changed in the financial world, in the work environment. And instead of, you know, these pension plans which no longer exist, what came along is us self-financing our own retirement, right? And that's where 401ks came into existence. 401ks, IRAs, excuse me, just 401ks, sorry about that, 401ks, IRA, etc. And as a result of that, we've been responsible for putting away our own nest egg, right? And here's the thing that happens with that: the environment has changed. And so today I'm going to show you why zero can be your hero, because you're going to hear some things that probably you never heard before. And it's one of the primary reasons I relaunched my financial services practice, because I wanted to bring value and educate the public on what's available. I mean, whether you go with me or not, I do believe I launched for the perfect reason. And that is, I have a product that can absolutely set someone up for financial independence, or even to be able to, have a strong supplement to your retirement. However, just get educated. This is not about me trying to sell you something. It's all about you being educated on what's out there. So I'm coming on here every single week to educate everyone on what's possible if you know and have the right vehicle. Today, I'm going to talk about IULs, indexed universal life plans, life policies. It's a life insurance policy. And you've probably been hearing a lot about it. Everybody's trying to get into this. It's interesting the amount of people that's getting licensed today. It's really funny. And the reason why I feel like, I know that I have the not just the license to talk about it, is because I was doing IULs back in 2004 when most people didn't even know they existed. I was doing these IUL planning and setting people up for retirement to have nest eggs. So I have a 20-year plus track of seeing how these things perform. And if structured properly, it can really set you up for an amazing retirement. What I'm going to do is show you a graph. I'm not going to be long, but I'm going to show you over the last 20 years what has been our position. And if you've been in the market, what it's looked like for you, because, as you know, the market goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. And what I noticed today, there's a lot of people who still play in that market. And here's the thing, it can be great if you have time to make up. But most people today who are playing in that market that are Generation X, which is, my age group, basically you don't have much time to recoup losses. Do you know that I was reading something that said if the market goes down 50%, that it takes you 100% of growth just to get back to ground zero? The market will always, reset itself. It will go back up, just like it goes down, it'll go back up. But we can't really forecast when those things are going to happen. Think about 9/11. You know how many people were set to retire? And they were like, when you're going to retire, you're going, man, next year, I am done. Only to find out 9/11 happened. And when it happened, people lost millions in their 401k, to the point that a lot of people had to continue working. That, my friend, is not a good feeling. So I'm here to show you how you can have safety, liquidity, and also be able to have your monies in a place that can grow tax deferred, and you can access them tax free. Okay, you can absolutely access these funds tax free. So as you're watching this, I encourage you to share it with people that you know. I do offer free consultations if you would like to sit down. And if you're in a great place, guess what? Or if this is not for you, I will take a look and say, listen, you're fine where you're at, right? Because it's all about making sure you're okay, whether this works for you or not. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look and deep dive into just the thing I was talking about. Okay, so let's take a look at this. And I'm going to bring up this little graph. And what you're going to see is if you invested $100,000 in 1997. So take a look at this graph. Let me see if I can blow it up even more. So let's see here. Okay, so you should be able to see that even more. Now, this is a graph that shows the blue line represents large company stocks. So let's just say that S&P 500, right? the top 500 companies in the US. And if your money was invested in the S&P 500 and you had 100,000 that you invested in 1997. Now, it doesn't matter which snapshot that we take. I want you to understand, typically, this is an example, but typically you would know that this happens in the stock market period, right? When you take a snapshot, you're going to see up and down, up and down, up and down for whatever reason, right? We're going to have a recession and then we're going to thrive. And then we're going to have another, only to go into the next recession and then thrive again. Well, if you had money, $100,000, let's say you had that in your 401k or an IRA or, some type of, gosh, I can't think of another account, but anyway, some type of an account that where you're in the market, and whether it's with your job or otherwise. Okay. Mutual funds. That's what I was going to say. So mutual funds, let's say you had $100,000 invested in 1997. Well, the blue line represents that. Now I'm going to talk about the gold line, right? The gold line represents an index strategy. Now, if you're not familiar with index strategy or indexed account, I'm not talking about index funds. It's a totally different, right? I'm talking about indexed account. There's only two ways to have an indexed account. The only two ways you can have an indexed account is with an index universal life policy or an indexed annuity. Those are the only two ways. Now, what makes those vehicles very attractive? Number one, you can participate in the upside potential of the market because you're not actually in the market. You're tied to the performance. Okay, so I want you to get that. You're not actually in the market, but you're able to capitalize on the gains. But guess what happens when the market goes down? In an index account, your gains get locked in and you get zero. So in essence, you do not get credited any interest for that time period, but you don't go negative. And that's why zero can be your hero. Now, in a lot of IULs, you'll see here on the screen, it says assume annual point to point. I'm not going to do a whole tutorial on IULs, but you'll get the point. It has a 7% cap. One of the things that have made IULs not as attractive to some people who like to go into the market, they're like, hey, listen, I'm capped. I can't earn. So if the market goes up 30%, in this plan, for example, they're only going to cap me at 7. So I only get 7% of growth. See, that's why I'm excited. And we can discuss this later about the IUL that I actually promote. There's zero cap. So if the market goes up 30%, guess what? Yes, you're going to get that 30%. Pretty nice, right? But when the market goes south, you don't participate in the losses. Now, I don't know about you. I like getting market gains, but I do not like participating in losses. So follow me here, and we're going to show you. Hopefully you can see my little cursor on here. So you see, whether you had an index account or whether you have a 401k, 403b, or whatever type of account that's in the market, both lines start at the same starting point. Now, as the market goes up, which it does, you'll see the gold line is going up as well. Now, here's the difference. The gold line is not going as high as the blue line. Why is that? Because it's capped at 7%. So, for example, if the market goes up to 20%, you get 7%. If the market goes up 6%, you get 6%, right? So 7% in this particular example of this index account is the highest that you can earn, okay, when it comes to interest being credited to your account. That's the highest that you can earn. But I'm going to show you how over time it will outperform, because when zero is your hero and you don't take any losses, you start off where you left off. Wow, that is powerful. And this is what your financial advisors do not want you to know. And the reason why they don't want you to know, because they don't get paid on these. They can't sell them. They don't get paid on these. They want you to be in the market, right? And what happens when you lose your shirt in the market? Oh, just hang in there. It'll come back. But in the meantime, you're losing money and they're still getting paid because they don't get paid whether the market goes up and down. They get paid on the portfolio of accounts that they're managing. So these are the things they don't really want you to know. But over time, history shows that this is an account that's absolutely a miracle. And yes, it is life insurance. Later on, we'll get into the details of that. That'd be a whole nother call. But I just wanted here, the purpose of this Zoom or this live is to show you how zero can be your hero. So let's continue. So you'll see the market went up, right? And this account has 117,453, right? So that person's excited. Over here, it's 107,500. And as it continues to go up, you'll see the peak, right? At the peak, this account started in 97, but in 2000, there's a gain where it has 151,000. So 51,836 was gain. So that looks pretty attractive to what? To 115.63. So you're like, wow, that's outperforming that. But here's where the magic starts. What happened in 2002? .com. The bubble of the .com happened, right? So during that time, Silicon Valley took a dive and the market went down. People lost money, right? So the market went down. Let me show you what happened. Then it went down to 128,000. Well, here, let's start. Okay, let me. This went from 115, but it's also let me go here so we can track this. The gold line is 124,230. You see that? So at 153,836 compared to 124,230. You see that? Absolutely, you do. Now the market went down. And now the blue line, if you were in the market, you lost pretty much close to $30,000, right? It took a snow dive, and now it's 128,379. But remember when I said zero your hero? What happened with the gold line? It stayed flat. Why? Because it locked in your gains and you did not lose anything that year and you didn't earn anything that year, right? See, it's not necessarily because you locked in at zero. It's because you didn't go negative. It works twice as hard to get back to where you were when you go negative. So take a look at this. 124,230. That same 124,230. You see? So it went down here. The blue line went down to 128,379, and it took a nosedive again. Look, 93,403. So it went from 151,000 to 128,000 to 93,403. What if that person was in a position where they thought they were going to retire? They just lost a ton, about $60,000 of their portfolio. If that same person would have had that money in an indexed account, it would still be 124,230. Why? Because the gains during the losses are locked in. That's why it's flat. So until the market resets itself and start going up in the positive direction, it will just stay flat. You lock in, but you don't lose. I don't know about you. I don't have time to lose money. And so what's that quote that Warren Buffett says? Rule number one, never lose money. Rule number two, always remember rule number one. I believe this is what he's talking about, right? And wealthy people understand and have their money in cash value life insurance policies. Now, let me show you what happens. Now, the markets start to go back up. This is where it gets really fascinating. Now, if you were in a stock market and I had the same indexed account, it's going back up. So the following year, what happens? I'm at 103.45. Oh, it's going back up. But now the index account is at 133.547. Well, how the heck did it start to beat the stock market? It's because it never took a nosedive. The gains were locked in until the market reset. And as you can see, it continues to go up and up and up and up. Take a look. So if you look here, I want you to see how powerful this is. In 97, the blue line was 100,000. In 2003, you pretty much have about $3,400 more than what you started with. So what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years? You have only $3,400 than when you started. Why? That's because of the volatility of the stock market. Now, I'm not against the stock market. So I don't want this to make it seem like it's a talk against the stock market. It's just that when you get into, a certain season of your life, you really don't have time to play these stock market games. Why? Because if you have all your eggs there, it can be quite risky. And you may end up either sacrificing your nest egg or not having enough to retire when that time comes that you really thought you had. So let's keep going. The market goes up. Look what's happening to my index account. It's going up too. It's going up. It's going up. Now, it went all the way up back in 2007. What happened in 2007 and 2008? The mortgage crisis. Boom. So as you can see, these things affect our money when these, market conditions change. So when that happened, what happened to this stock or your 401k, 413, mutual fund, IRA, right? Even a Roth IRA. You can access it tax-free, but guess what? It's still at risk, right? You're not, free from the risk if you're in the market. But once again, the index account is tied to the performance and not in. So you get the beautiful side of being tied to the upside swing without the downside risk. So this is what happens. The blue line is now at 154.62. Where is the index account? Because it never lost. It's at 170.683. Now, the account goes down in 2008. Why? Because of the market crash. 133.065. What happens here to the index account? It's locked in. So do you see it's still the same? It never loses. And as the market continues to plummet, these gains continue to be locked in. I don't know about you, but this is a very attractive way to grow money, in addition to all the other benefits that comes along with it, right? Because it is at the same time life insurance too. So there's a death benefit attached to it. But you can access these monies tax-free. You don't have to be 59 and a half. You don't have to fall into all these different rules that come along with, these funds in the market. You can access the money tax-free when you're ready to withdraw it by taking what we call a policy loan. So we'll get into that in another chat, but I just wanted to show you how zero can be your hero. Now, as the market starts to go back up, look what happens in 2011. So if you take a look, everybody started at $100,000 invested. Pretty much 10 years later, okay? 10 years later, is that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, that's 10. 11, 12, 13, 14 years later. 14 years later, a person who had their money in the market is at 138,192. If you had an index account, you would have almost $70,000 more. Why? Because you never took a nosedive and zero is your hero. And this is assuming that the index account has a cap of 7%. Now, if you'd like to dig deep further, I can definitely show you how with the one I represent, in my opinion, is the most fabulous IUL out there in terms of how it performs. There's no cap. So imagine what this would be if, in fact, there was no cap. It would be much higher than 197,245. Okay. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I just want to show you and educate you that if you didn't know, you can put yourself in position where you can get all the upside swing of the market without the downside risk. Some of you are probably looking for plans like that, but don't even know they even exist. And so I would say, let's have a chat, inbox me, and let's have a free consultation. Let's take a look at what you're doing and see if this is a right fit for you. It may not be, it's not for everybody. I can honestly say that. It all depends on, where you are in life and what you're looking to do. Okay. But at least you see that I made my point. Zero, in this case, can be your hero. All right. So that is it for me. I'll be doing some more education next week. Stay tuned. Invite your friends, share this video, like this video. This needs to get out because there are so many people trying to figure out how can I secure my nest egg without losing my shirt. And there's a way to do that. There's absolutely a way to do that. Okay. So that's my time. I appreciate, you plugging in. And for those of you who are looking at the replay, say #replay. And we'll see you next week. Have an awesome, awesome, awesome. Stay dry. I know here it is raining like cats and dogs. So stay dry. And we will see you next week. All right. Bye for now.